Okay, Bank Nifty was fairly energized today on the back of a strong move in HDFC Bank post that Q1 result. We now have Axis Bank being the second major from the private bank pack, which is going to be putting out its earnings tomorrow, and its expectations galore from this one, as now people are starting to believe that the private banks might actually outperform and report better than expected results. On the growth front, coming to NII, our first estimate, we're looking at 6,800 crore versus last quarter 6,800 crore. So no real growth on a sequential basis. However, on a year-on-year basis versus last year's 5,800, you're looking at a 20% growth on the NII. Now looking at the PAT, it's going to probably come in around 1,200 crores according to most brokers. That's versus a loss of 1,388 crore last quarter, or versus a profit of last year 1,370 crores. So pretty much flat on the profit level, maybe a mild decline. This will be on the back of elevated provisioning. Let's remember last quarter, Axis Bank took a huge COVID provision and total provision stood around 7,000 crore if I'm not mistaken. This quarter, brokerage consensus estimates indicate that the provision figures could be around 4,000 crore plus, which is still by no means a small figure. HDFC Bank just took a 4,000 crore provision in their Q1 results. So it's a fairly large number that would be provided for. Gross NPAs are likely to remain stable because during the moratorium period, there's been less recognition, and some loans from the corporate stress pool or from the corporate pool might not show up as NPA this quarter as a result. So those are not really going to see any major uptick or downtake according to brokers. The operating profits could moderate slightly. Again, there might have been some lower fee income and lower other income this quarter. That's another thing we saw in the HDFC Bank Q1 results. So that's something to look out for here as well. That could be important. Now coming to the margins, in the case of HDFC, people predicted a flattish to negative NIM growth at 4.2. It came in at 4.3. For Axis last quarter, they did around 3.5. And this quarter, people are looking at, brokers rather, are looking at 3.55 as a similar or likely figure on the NIMs front as well. A couple other particulars for you. Credit cost guidance estimates among most brokers, Nomura specifically, stands at 240 to 250 bips for the quarter. According to MK, it's also in a similar range. Currently, Axis Bank is trading at a valuation of 1.1x FY22 price to book, so that's 1 year forward, and far cheaper than its historical averages. And considering, that there's been so many headwinds for banks and so much negative news revolving around the moratorium and, all the impact that's going to come out of there, HDFC's result just completely surprised. So if something like that happens here again tomorrow, it might give you the second vote of confidence and line things up really well for banks like ICICI and IndusInd, which will have their results coming up next.